let the record show we have Mrs. Nader, Eric Caldwell, Dick Bratton present. Dominic Turnbull is absent. I think we're waiting on Mark Monson.
Is it on?
I don't know. Yeah, it's on.
I'll speak a little louder. All right. Additions, deletions, and corrections to the agenda. We wanted to add under new business C, 10420 Mountain Avenue. That was Fraser. Dealt with windows on the porch. And like to add to new business D, Duty Mountain Trail signage.
Move to approve the recommended agenda.
I'll second. All those in favor, vote by, any further discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes for the June 23rd meeting?
They look great.
Oh, there you are. Do you have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I like the motion to approve.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Public input. Is there anyone here to speak to the planning commission that is not on the agenda?
Mr. Alexander, I'm John Breesley with Muller GC. I've been speaking with you about the commercial kitchen at the Sally Bush Community Center.
Yes.
Where that we're on the agenda.
You are on the agenda.
Okay.
If we don't take you at public input, you're on next.
Thank you.
Mike Bowman, just a little brief update on the cell phone tower.
Yes.
Thank
You want the mic?
you. No. I should fix it, but when you applied to have the cell phone companies look at the property you proposed, they wanted you only to send in the address and then they would make the assessments. And if they found something that's interesting, they'll come back and speak with you. The reason for that is so they're bidding more with each other, and also that you are up the price on your rentals. So basically, they cut off all communication until they come back to you. The cell phone companies here in the area have contracted with 3 testing companies to determine what's a good match. I can contact them and ask them what references have been. So I set about doing that. And right now, AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile aren't interested. There's nothing that will match their plan. Sprint has not responded. However, I know the few of the engineers that did the testing, and so there's still a possibility. I believe the reason the other ones have not gone with our property is they can't see a financial advantage. In other words, there's just not enough customers from there to consider the company going up and down the pass for here. So, my best hope is that Sprint will respond.
That's it. Thank you. So just to clarify, Mr. Bowman, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile have withdrawn interest.
They say that there is not, at this time, there is no advantage to them locating a tower.
Thank you. anyone else that's not on the agenda? You're up.
Good evening. My name is Mark Mahler. I've been a general contractor for 28 years as Mahler GC, and my company's been engaged by the Sally Bush Center through the UPass Community Association to install in the facility. And so we're here tonight to ask for your blessing on that project and see who has the jurisdiction to sign off on the plans that Regional Building have required us to see you about.
Yes.
So I can answer any questions. Just brief history. The building, as you know, has been there forever. It's owned by Church of the Wildwood. It's been leased by the UPass Community Association, one of their special projects, Sally Bush Foundation. And so it's kind of all interconnected several years ago in terms of installation of handicapped and accessible toilet facilities and new entries, doors, walkways, parking, curb and gutter, and that kind of thing. That was all completed, and the kitchen was dependent on funding. That occurred this spring from the Kirkpatrick Bank Foundation, and they agreed to provide funding for the kitchen. We provided an estimate for that work, and that was approved at their late May meeting. And then Mr. Bob Patchell is here, who's Vice President and Project Manager for the UPass Community Association. And so he was in touch with me. We provided the estimates for the foundation. They funded the project, and the architect prepared drawings, and been approved by all the various jurisdictions with the building department and utilities and so forth. And the last box on the checklist. So I don't know what questions you have. I can tell you that this is interior work. There's no addition to the building. There's no additional square footage. There are no new doors, walkways. The only notice that anybody would have is there will be an exhaust fan mounted on the roof of the shed portion of the kitchen, which is actually behind the building. I'm not positive whether that's visible from the road. I tend to think not, because of the roof height and the fact that the shed roof is behind. But there will be that mounted there. A makeup area unit for the hood that goes to the kitchen on the ground mounted, much like an air conditioning unit would be on the outside of the building. And it's immediately adjacent to the building in that behind the building, there's just some grass, kind of open space.
Yeah. So directly behind the building, as I explained to John, if I'm facing the stage, the kitchen would be in the room that, for the most part, is
We did bring, I'll have John pass out a copy of the drawing that indicates the shape. It's a plan, just shows the shape of the building. It shows where that work takes place. This is John Briesewitz, who's project manager for Mahler GC.
Sure.
Oh, Briesewitz.
That's it. There you go.
So if you look at the drawing, what John has done here is, this is the plan that the architect prepared, and he has shaded all of the areas where no work is to occur, which is the gym and the stage and the office and the two new handicap accessible toilet facilities that are on the upper left. On the upper right, the other portion of that shed roofed structure is where the kitchen is, and I don't know if has it been a kitchen in the past at all, Bob?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Right now, it's basically vacant, concrete floor, a couple of wooden closets that'll come out. there's an indication that there's a mechanic that has a new water heater and furnace and so forth. That was all put in as part of the previous work, so that's why that's shaded. There's no work in that area. Has the mop sink and some of those mechanical facilities to it. So our job is to actually install the kitchen equipment. Obviously, there's a range and a cooktop and a range hood and a fryer and a dishwasher and stainless steel racks and tables and all the kinds of things that come with a commercial kitchen.
Okay, so at the back of the building, where on the legend you have items 2, 3, and then 5. They're against the back wall. That back wall, for the most part, is cut into the hillside. That's correct. And then, so is that area there? Is that where the hood?
If you look at this plan, there's a dotted line with a number 1 on it. That is the hood itself.
Okay.
So that hangs from the ceiling. 2 and 3, I believe, are the cooktop and oven and the fryer. Well, you see, it is cut in. There's I believe it's a rock retaining wall.
It's all in the back of the building.
But there is some level ground immediately behind the building before you get to that retaining wall. So in other words, there's no earth against the back of the building.
Okay. So the hood, for the most part, mostly directly straight up.
It will all vent up, and there'll be, you've seen,
The dome shaped.
yeah, it's a dome kind of, I mean, it's, I don't know, 2 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet or something like that. That will be parked on the roof.
If you go up Grandview, right there, and that building is just a little bit, as you press the top of the Grandview over there, he's got 2 of those sitting out on that. I mean, it's basically a smaller one, but the large ones you can see.
So that'll be mounted on the roof, and then there'll be a small unit that's, again, probably 30 inches by 30 inches by 3 or 4 feet long, that's mounted on the ground. That's the makeup air unit, which produces the combustion air for the hood and so forth itself.
Okay, so where does the makeup air, I'm presuming that's going to get let up?
That would sit immediately behind the hood there, number 1, and put it directly, I mean, it may be a foot one way or the other.
Just that
Actually, we do have,
is raised. This one here.
we just have one copy of that gate.
This is the kitchen that we're talking about, area, makeup area is right here. And then that is going to demonstrate the building right there. That's the orientation.
It'll be mounted on a concrete pad.
Mrs. Mayor, you had concerns about noise.
Right.
I guess there's 2 questions. Is how noisy is it? And then when does it get used? If you're not cooking.
Well, only when the hood is operating, when somebody's cooking, is the makeup air unit going. Same with the exhaust fan on the top. When the hood shuts down, everything else shuts down. Obviously, we've got existing furnace and some heaters in the building that's been there for years. And they run as needed to keep the building warm. But you're correct. When the kitchen is not in use, those units do not run. I don't know that I can give you an answer in terms of sones, which is a measurement of. My experience, having installed a number of these, is that they produce about the same amount of noise condensing unit produces if you have an air conditioner in your house, or if you've been in a building and has a condensing unit mounted outside. You've got a pretty good sized fan in them, then turn a blade over air grill to cool the air that's going in and so forth. So it's that type of a unit. It's basically a furnace. The way a kitchen works, you've got this big exhaust here, and the exhaust air on the top takes all that out and exhaust the heat. If you don't introduce air, it sucks all the air out of the building and you create a vacuum inside. And obviously buildings leak, so it's never a complete vacuum. However, code requires you to introduce the same amount of air that you're exhausting. So however much air the fan exhausts, that's how much air you have to put in at the hood, so it doesn't remove the heated air from the building. In the summer, it's not a big deal. In the wintertime, it can be a big deal if it's 0 degrees out and you're introducing 0 degree air into the kitchen. That can be a problem for kitchen workers. So you have to heat the air or temper the air. So it's basically a furnace. The flame comes on, heats the air to 50 degrees or something like that. So when it's introduced, it's not ambient outside temperature. So it's basically a furnace. Sometimes it runs just the fan, sometimes it runs the burner.
What's the CML?
It's 2,000 on the hood, and it's able to make a very unit at this point. Okay, it's 280 on the hood and 280 on the makeup area.
So that's not much.
So let's get there. Let's get down to 1556.
So it's 1,500 CFM, cubic feet per minute on the exhaust fan.
Exhaust is
And so it's 1556 outside air CFM. So it's bringing in that 1,500 CFM. To give you an example, if I'm not mistaken, a typical furnace for a house, 25,000 or 50,000 BTUs, would produce somewhere in the 2,000 CFM range.
So inside the kitchen, if nothing's going on, it's going to sound like what you hear right now.
Inside, if nothing's going on, you won't even hear that noise because the fan won't be running.
Well, I mean, aside, if it was just the fan, the
Oh,
exhaust
if
just running,
the
that's
hood's
not
running, correct, you'll hear something
Yeah.
like that. Probably be louder, I'm guessing it's louder inside than it is outside. So if you can imagine your furnace running in your basement or your furnace closet, wherever it is, that's approximately the amount of noise that will be produced by the makeup air. The fan will produce maybe a similar amount of noise because of the units. I believe there's some pretty sizable setbacks, I mean, to the nearest structures behind, because there's property goes back and you get the retaining wall and so forth. Your second question was, when will it be used? And I don't know, Bob might be able to answer that a little. I think it's used for functions. Green Box just was finished. I think that's part of the plan, is to be able to do some cooking demonstrations and classes and that kind of thing. Unfortunately, the funding didn't come through in time to get it completed for this year's event, which just ended. But I don't know you folks that live here probably know more about how that's used than I do. I've been to wedding receptions up here and that kind of thing. Special events.
It will be used for what it always has been in the past when it was open to the public. And there will be events, various events there. We just had a couple of events take place over there. Green Box is one of them. And the one before that was John Gordon's daughter's pre-marriage event took place over there. And there's other scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday. There will be the mining association is meeting over there. They have it reserved for 2 days. And events to follow. But hopefully it will not be open as a kitchen serving the general public like a restaurant. That's not in the plans. It would just be used for private events. That's pretty much.
So sporadically throughout the year, probably more so during the summer, spring, summer, fall, not so much in the winter. And then, not all day long. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some occasions where you might have a bigger party that lasts longer.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
bigger event, that's it.
I expect there'll be dances there and with going in the evening. And the association is in possession of the town's ordinance on noise. We are in possession of that, and that'll be our
Bingo?
I think,
Bingo?
you know, as long as it's under the noise ordinance, is it really anything we can say anything about now? So, and, I mean, it's not something we ever ask about for air conditioners or something like that. If someone puts one in, we say that. So if it's the same as an air conditioner or a furnace or something like that, I don't even think it's something we need to be concerned about necessarily.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the plans as submitted.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? So you have,
How do we get the plan? We have them with us.
up in this
Chairman, will sign it.
Okay.
Incidentally, we have two people who have currently received their state licenses for bingo presentations.
That's cool.
So we're gonna have drunks bingo party, Valley George, huh?
I think an alcohol license is a whole different thing.
Doesn't that come under the religious side of things, though? Yeah.
I'm an architect.
I know.
Your designer did a nice job, sir. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Nice clear drawings. Oh, excellent.
Thank you. Gentlemen, appreciate the opportunity to make our presentation. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
You all have a good evening.
Thank you.
They were good with just the initial. They were just okay with the initial. They were going to find something.
So we're moving on to the next issue now. So,
Yeah, we'll go, yes.
okay. So before we have people come up and talk to us about things, I was just thinking maybe it'd be good to go over what we actually consider, what we're actually looking at when we approve. And so also in the future, I think, when we have a public hearing, at the start of the public hearing, we should go over what we're considering,
Yeah.
what we consider
Point of order, this is not a public hearing.
No, I'm not saying this is. I'm saying that,
Public hearing, identify what it is the planning commission takes under consideration for the code.
Okay.
and so that's so that when people are saying, you know, talking, when they're going, you know, when they come up to speed, they're not trying to go over everything with us that they would need to tell the board of trustees. Because we're considering two different things in some ways.
That's the point I want to make. The Board of Trustees, on the advice of the town attorney, scheduled a public hearing before this planning commission.
It's July 20th.
For July 20th,
No, 20th.
28th, in 2 weeks. At that time, all the neighbors and the petitioner will have a chance to address the since they will make the final decision.
No,
No, that's.
that's the planning commission.
I'm sorry. following that, there'll be a public hearing.
Right, on August 4th.
The attorney wanted us to start all over again, including notifying the neighbors with letters, including posting. And then the planning commission will hold another public hearing, which we will do.
Yes.
So at that time, both the opponents and opponents will have a chance to address this board. So I would suggest that we table any agenda item until that public hearing. I move to table until the public hearing.
I disagree. I think we should go over, we should figure out, what we go over with.
Let these folks know what we take into consideration.
Right.
There is probably some information that has come up, or points of view that may be of interest to you. You may not be able to act on it. You may be able to go back and take a different approach from what you did in the past that may be more convincing. And because I have some stuff to share that I talked to some neighbors, and then after thinking about it, looked at it a little differently, and it may or may not benefit your case. But I'm going to share that with those who are here for this. So one of the things that was brought to me was someone said that if they bought the house and used it strictly for vacation rental by owner, it's more like a motel. Motel is, for the most part, less than 30 days constantly, which isn't too much different from what the petitioner is asking permission to use. So at first, that makes sense. How does that differ from a motel? And then I was thinking, is there anybody else doing that? So when I represented the Binghams, Scott Hopper, who bought the house and reconverted the one down below me, came before the planning commission for a special use for 3 properties, 3 mountain falls. Wasn't good on all 3. I believe he was in Colorado Springs, so he has 3 properties that are strictly vacation rental by owners. So, is that good? Is that bad? It's existing. The town has, up to date, has permitted that type of activity. Is it something that the Board of Trustees wants to consider? I know Green Mountain Falls is a tourist destination. Look at the increase in the population of the town from before Memorial Day to after, up through Labor Day and past that. And it swells because people come here. Yes, a number of those folks have their own house that they use. 3 of the 4 properties that adjoin mine are vacation rental by owners. Maybe I'm lucky and I have responsible property owners next to my property that I don't have issues. The case in this situation, but so that's a consideration. Piggybacking on what Eric brought up initially is what do we consider? And so it's section 16, 10 special uses. Standards governing the approval or disapproval of a petition for special use based upon the standards set forth in this land use code, including but not limited. The petition conforms to the requirement of the zoning ordinance. That just means, is their petition filled out properly? Are they asking to do what's permitted? The use conforms to the requirements of the zoning ordinances. So they're doing residential in a residential area. You may have something that may be more of a business than residential, although it is being used for people residing. The use is consistent with the goals and objectives of the master plan. aren't that using, I mean, it's a vacation destination. I think it's consistent. Neighboring land uses are compatible with the contemplated use. There may be something there. I don't have a silver bullet to give you to use, but something to digest, look into when you come back in 2 weeks. The use will not result in an oversensitive use of the land. I personally think that's an uphill battle to fight down. Having people who live part-time throughout the year is going to produce less use than somebody who lives there every day and is going back and forth. The use will not result in new traffic congestion and traffic hazards. My thought is ditto on the last one. 7, use will not be unreasonably detrimental to the public health, safety, and welfare. Maybe we'll use that. There were a number of, I won't say arguments, because I don't think they were arguments. There were complaints or there were items, bulletins pointed out here, but you didn't go into detail to say why it was detrimental. Someone said in an email saying it'll be detrimental. They didn't explain why. They just made the claim. So there were claims that were made, but nobody elaborated on those claims. So we need those who are opposed or for, to elaborate on those that we may not see. We obviously don't see it the way you do. So help us understand what it is that makes it unreasonable or detrimental. Does that make sense?
It makes great sense, only I believe that we did very specifically what was detrimental. A very steep driveway, like a driveway with no ingress, egress other than that one driveway. So someone unknown to that driveway, which is very steep, very dark, there's no lighting whatsoever. Whereas all these vacation rentals have another egress. All of them, every single one, every month falls, other than this proposal. So if there was an incident on that road and someone got stuck, which has happened many, many times, I've lived there 41 years, we have no emergency services up there. Nor can we get down that mountain if there's a car cattywampus or hit off the shoulder, which has happened many times. 2 of the cars have flown into the maintenance yard. It's a very unusual situation. We don't feel safe with people who who don't know that driveway, coming up and down at all hours of the night in all kinds of conditions. To an attorney, and he said we met every one except for one of these. So I felt like we were very descriptive and very detailed in our letters. I didn't read every single letter. I read mine and maybe 1 or 2 of the other neighbors. We can go ahead and look, revisit it, and look again. I mean, I just don't know how much more descriptive we could be other than, I mean, we have pictures to present of the driveway. We're disappointed that no one's come up to look at it. No one, not one person on this commission came up to look at the driveway in the dark hours. That's really disappointing, and the attorney was very clear that if you guys made some kind of an approval of that and there was an incident, I would not only be liable as the owner of that driveway, but so would the town be liable for approval. So it's really disappointing to me that no one has taken into consideration. It's a serious situation.
Is the driveway any steeper than most of the streets in town?
Yes. In some areas, yes it is.
I
That's why
agree
it's-
with some areas. I
Well,
agree
not
with
the
that statement.
entire driveway. Yeah, you come and see, you'll see. The only way out of this proposed vacation rental is a backup. They have no way to circle around. They have to back up. They can end up in the maintenance yard, they can end up knocking down the apricot tree. They have at several incidents backed up into Art and Deb's fence, into their split rail fence, because there's no lighting up there. So they have to back up. There's extremely icy spots that go even into early June and start again in September because of the shade of the apricot tree. So it's a serious situation because there's no other ingress. And we're very, very unknown to the area. And we're talking constant. It could be, they could be here for 2 days, they could be here for a week, we could have 15 different people in a month. It's a serious situation.
Dear Karen?
Yes.
Okay, I'm good. We're not going to get anything resolved tonight. What I wanted to do was give you information that
And we have that. I
might be
appreciate that.
useful.
Yeah, we have that. We've shared it with the attorneys and all the neighbors, so we appreciate that. Thank you. And we'll look at, to see how much more detail we can. We have pictures, I mean, I don't know what else we can do.
This is the best that I can offer you right now.
Okay, it's
The,
an unusual.
the full-time use, may or may not be in that there are people who own property that use it exclusively for vacation rental by owner.
And they're all on the other side is what we're trying to say to you. They're all on that side and they all have another access in or out of their property. There's not one, and we know this because we travel them. There's not one that can only get out one way if there was an emergency. And that's very,
I'm going to argue that, I know personally that there are two of the adjoining properties to mine have that same condition, to where they get cattywampus, they block egress and ingress. They block the roads on Cat Mountain.
then it must be a new one, because we traveled all of them. And there is not one that will cause somebody to not be able to get emergency services if they get skewed. And there is not one that has fallen off the hill. We've had 2 vehicles fly off the hill, literally into the neighbor's yard or into the neighbor's yard. So, I mean, I'd be happy to look at that if you give me the address.
Yeah, just drive up Cat Mountain.
Okay.
Today's not the best day to drive. It's not no big repair. Of course, that probably applies to the streets. I'd ask my fellow commissioners to take a peek at it during the day first.
And I have driven by it
I run by it
a few times, yeah. It's not that we haven't been by it, but
The darkness issue adds to it, but that applies to those streets.
But it doesn't, because this is a private driveway. And then almost all of the streets, as we were driving up and down the streets, and we have a list of all the vacation rentals, had some kind of lighting. There was some kind of lighting somewhere on those streets because they're public streets, most of them. We have no lighting, nothing, zero. And so
halfway up Grandview, there is a light. And going past that, there's no other public lighting, maybe a porch light.
Well, at least there's one, there's none here. I don't want unknown people driving up and down that driveway. I own the driveway. It's a huge liability for me. And it was my ex-husband's car that flew off into the maintenance yard. Into the neighbor's yard, and then it was,
I'd offer that don't use the lighting because the easiest solution is put a porch light on.
again, because you haven't been there, you can't describe this because you don't see it at night. We live there, we see it at night.
And we're not opposed to vacation rentals, that's not the issue. We're not opposed to vacation rentals. It's just an unusual situation that we have in this little area. We have 116 years of residence, not even a rental, not even a long-term rental. 116 years of people living in the same home. And $2 million in property value. It's an unusual situation in this little area. And we are not comfortable with people coming and going at all hours of the day and night, not knowing that driveway. It's a really, I'm very about it because it's my driveway, I own it, and I don't want the liability. And I don't think the town wants the liability.
So if it was a long-term rental, we can't say.
Oh, if it's a long-term rental, we introduce ourselves, we walk the driveway with them, the neighbors, and these are people who live there forever. I 40 years, on Burns 40 years, this one 15 years, this one 20 years. We all know each other. We help each other plow, we help each other. It's a
They're
whole
good neighbors.
yes.
Yeah.
And
So
we're
most
good.
of it's the driveway issue.
And-
That seems to be the majority of, and you're expressing it very well, because last week that wasn't expressed.
Well, we
as
were
well as
out
it-
of town,
Right,
unfortunately, I'm sorry,
I understand. And I think it's good to hear that. Because I think more of the last week, there was a lot of talk about not feeling safe and those kind of things. And I think, you know, when you look across the town, there hasn't been problems with that. So that part of it was hard to say, no, we won't do it because people are concerned about their safety because of people renting a long-term rental, or I mean not a long-term vacation. And when you look across the town, there haven't been problems with that. So it'd be hard to say just at this one place it's going to be different than everywhere else. So I think you're doing a very good job expressing.
I just want, so you have, so the house that is going to do the renting has an easement from you
Yes.
on the driveway, okay. So,
They haven't met their terms of their easement agreement, which is a whole other issue, that's a civil matter. So this is just a big mess, let me tell you. I've lived for 41 years, it's a big mess. I would rather not be involved in it, but I am,
we've had a problem with that house for a
yes,
long time.
yes. So, and they haven't kept up with, I mean, we'll save it for the next one, but thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table any further discussion on this agenda item until the public hearing on July 28th.
I think one more thing we should address, just so you guys will know, in the code about vacation rentals and special use, it does actually say you're supposed to notify the adjacent property, the people who actually touch that property, their property does. So it's not that we weren't following the code, we didn't notify the people on the field. That's what was done in the past, but it's not what's in the code.
The requirement is to notify the adjoining properties.
And that still wasn't met because Art and Deb did not get notification. They found out from we who got notification. And their property abuts that.
And that's, I mean,
Exactly.
it's a mistake.
That's why we're sitting here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Because it was not done due process, it was not done correctly.
We're
What's the
gonna
name of
start
the
all
person
over.
that?
Chris, Art and Deb, and they know now.
Then we just do certified mail.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Yes, a second.
Moved and seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
For the record, though, I do want to acknowledge that we received several letters that were hand carried to the town clerk. June 28th from Carrie Watson. And, updated from Velma Krieger. One, looks like two. And one from Fort Smith were received, and they will be entered into the record, and they will be considered as input for the public hearing.
Before you go, in order to follow due process, we have the letters again to give to you while you're here tonight. So that you can vote again and write your concern if you want to follow up with anything additional or information that we may not have at this point. So you are the only person that I see. Mr. Kudasek,
He's our neighbor. I mean, Jody lives in the court, I mean, they're partners, so.
and then if you would just that you received it. So, this is That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just so you received it, that way I can keep track of the contact information.
Yeah, we had two. We had it, January
Now,
29th.
then, and then
Yeah. So. 10420 Mountain Avenue.
That's the one that, here.
Here's your Adams.
Yeah.
There's questions about windows.
Looks like
Very shoes here. Good evening.
I'm here, but I want to know if I'm getting a building permit. I'm putting some new windows in the house. That's about it. No real building, just put some windows. I didn't know what I needed. More information.
So in terms of building permit, as long as they're smaller, you don't have to have a building permit. In terms of architectural,
Architectural. It is, if someone were to drive by today and look at the front of your house and then drive by after you've completed installing the windows, would someone readily be able to discern that you put in windows where there were not windows?
Yeah, the windows on the south half of the porch right now are just screened. On the north half, they're screened back by framed-in glass. And I wanted to continue the glass all the way to the south half. So, first would probably notice not much difference.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So it's, you just, there's a screen, where there is just a screen, you want to put a window behind it?
Yeah,
Okay.
glass.
and so if it's a new window, then you might have to get a building permit. So, but if it's like, so for instance, if your windows just have lost panes of glass over time,
Yeah.
because I've had windows like that where the panes of glass are just so old that they fall out. That's different. That's just replacing a window with something similar. That's not a big deal.
This is more or less the same thing. It's
Okay.
just completing the job.
Yeah.
It's already been started, but the glass didn't go over there around the porch. You know where the glass didn't go over the
So you're not creating the opening to put the window, it's already there.
Yeah.
porch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's the structural part is
Yeah.
if the opening for the window is the structural part, that is already there, you're
Right.
doing the structure.
Right.
So,
Not putting a new frame in.
right.
Yeah, frame's already there.
Yeah.
And it's set up
I don't think you need a permit for that.
for
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if it's something simple, you know, like minor change.
This is architectural, yeah, and it's,
Even if someone was.
it's more repair than.
Right, but even if someone replaces a window and the new window doesn't have the dividers,
Yeah.
it's still probably somewhat, is it really something that has to get approved or not? Because they can stick those up.
Yeah.
Call it good, and it'll be fine.
So
So
architecturally, it's not really different, whether it has the
the
key.
dividers, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think even if it's gonna be somewhat different, as long as the window doesn't change the shape, like get bigger.
Yeah.
Then it's probably not, or a permit isn't required from our like speed to the building.
Okay. D, Dewey Mountain Trail sign, signage.
Yep. No, that's added to it.
Good, so they,
Are you talking about the little round sign? The
yeah,
signs with the
little
dots?
line signs.
That'd be a good place.
We did,
Okay.
and so we approved those. we approved those at the April 14th Planning Commission meeting. And, as the sign plan was presented, catch two.
Okay.
At this location here too, east corner of Ann and Grandview, it's supposed to have a right arrow. You can see the shading here where we're directing traffic over through to Florence, Florence. They accidentally got a left sign.
Not accident. For the purposes of the dedication ceremony, we wanted the simplest way to tell people how to get to the trail. So we purposely put the arrow left to put people on Grandview, so they have one less turn. If you go up here, you got an extra turn. So we did it for one day. Now,
So,
if you'd like
so,
us to change it,
well, this, I mean, this is what was approved. That's correct.
So you're just asking what they have to do.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, there was supposed to be a sign in Grandview and Catamount.
that's number 4.
That's Florence.
Florence and Catamount. So you don't need one here, because that's
Okay. So, but there is a sign down here at Grandview and Catamount, and that's, okay. So that those will be changed.
if you wish.
Well, this is what was approved. So
He's saying yes.
my thought is, this is what's approved. If you want to put a sign, if you want to change the sign plan, then
I should go.
yes.
This route was picked by Jesse Stroop on the historic Green Mountain Falls Foundation, because he envisioned someday there might be an access to it. Subsequently, Trails Committee decided this is the best route. The one that we put up. I would, at this time, propose a motion that we change the route to use Grandview, Catamount, and not use Florence.
Just following the sign plans.
I cannot say under sign permits that addresses trail signage.
Are they permanent signs?
Yes, well, semi.
I'll take it now. You're hoping you don't take it. Right. Okay, so let's go with that's permanent. Applicant shall file an application, short description of the proposal in the advance drawings needed.
Did
My
you
thought
require
is-
this the first time?
Pardon?
Do you require a sign permit for the first time?
I'm presuming that he did this, that he got a sign permit. The fee may be waived for nonprofit organization, so he would have been waived. I'm presuming that he got a sign permit. Okay.
I don't remember. That.
No, this was presented, this one came up with.
Yeah, that meets.
I don't want
this
to draw
criteria.
it backwards. I will withdraw my motion. You have already approved this, so let's move on.
So will you be changing the signs then? No, the signs where they
Yes,
are, we're not.
yes.
Okay, that,
Okay.
if we approve a one-story house, you can't have a two-story house.
Right.
But you need a sign permit for something that a city government organization is doing. Usually you don't. If you put up a new street sign.
They are a committee of the town, so.
Right. But does the committee of the town need to have approval of a sign?
Well, that's not on the table.
I think that then you'd like, if you put up a new sign in front of the maintenance center, you have to get it approved. If you put up a new sign in front of town hall, you have to get it approved. Like, I think usually city government doesn't have that process, do they?
But this really isn't government, it's the committee.
But it's
Is that
still
correct?
part of the town, if it's a committee
Or a
governed by the
committee
town.
appointed by the
Board.
town board of trustees. So we are an arm of the town government. We report directly to the town trustees. We are not an independent nonprofit entity. We are a part of the town government.
I would say, I mean, from everything we've seen, it doesn't seem like if you're part of the town government, and they are, you don't need a permit. If they were a separate organization, they had their own 501c3, whatever it may be, then yeah, I think you have a point. But as it stands, they are part of the town government.
So with that argument, I'd be okay with a motion that amended this approval. I mean, if you had your heart set on going up Grandview,
It's more convenient. It's easier to find.
procedurally, we didn't approve that.
Yeah,
So if
that's
we want to amend
Yes.
this, we'll do this formally.
Okay.
No, I think, you know, if it's an easier way for the hikers to get there, it's less wandering through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Which is something
You
that I
just
think,
walk uphill and you get there.
yeah. Well, I think any place you hike can go.
And
If you took me downhill to get to a hiking spot.
B to show route
We're just like Grandview then?
Grandview, Catamount.
So take down this sign, put a sign.
There is no sign in 3.
Oh, okay,
So he doesn't have to change the signs, we just amend
okay.
what was approved.
I make a motion to amend what was approved. I'll second for trail signs.
It's 20.
Discussion.
I think I gotta remind you that we modified the trail maps that were printed to go up Lawrence.
Huh?
Our trail maps show the path to use Lawrence, not,
And we'll change the trails.
okay.
I forgot. That's
So we had a second,
we made the trails map.
We're more in the discussion part.
okay, that's right.
Any further discussion? If Joe's motion, when you do the minutes, please approve that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? So it was, yeah. Old business, review of zoning of Lake Street Business District, formerly. You guys gonna take a look?
Mr. Chair. It's my considered thing. Property is property, so business district. And the question posed by petitioner is a residence in their business legal? So that being a legal question, I would recommend that we table this item until we can get some advice from the town attorney.
Didn't it already go to the town attorney first?
No, it went to the marshal.
Okay.
Marshall, give you guys, you give it back to us. But I would certainly not want to get into heavy discussion of this until we hear.
Is the use consistent with the code?
Yeah. I mean, I was reading the code on my, but did seem that it's kind of left out of the code. It talks about apartments as a special use. But nowhere in there does it actually address,
It,
it doesn't say not allowed or allowed.
it falls under accessory use,
Accessory,
accessory use.
what code is that? Hello, Mr. Jones. How are you?
Welcome back.
It's 7:10.
7:10.
So it is. It's like, Article 6, page 33 is the bottom.
16.
Yeah.
What's it say, Chairman?
It, accessory buildings and uses is the title. And then it goes into definitions. An accessory use and building is a subordinate use of another structure or tract of land or a subordinate building or other structure. So we're looking at is a subordinate use of a building. One, which is clearly incidental to the use of the principal building, other structure, or use of land, which is customary in connection with the principal building, other structure, or use of land. Or which is ordinarily located on the same lot with the principal building, other structure, or use of the land. Okay, no, it's the page. This page.
Yeah. Did you guys get a copy of the
I have a second copy.
I have a copy.
Chris gave me this.
Yes, I don't mind.
When I first started, I got this book.
I make my own book. As something comes up,
Yeah.
and I read it, I just, I just read.
So, there's merit getting a legal opinion.
I think we need to be specific about what we're asking.
Well, the petitioner claims that it's illegal to have a residence.
But I was that.
And they asked us to respond to
I don't even know, I mean, well, go ahead.
that. If you look at Stephen's letter, I asked him three things.
That is that's the, this is the most recent.
Yeah.
That goes with that.
Their letter dated May 8th. Please read the letters, review the documents, and either prove to me that Ken Nord has proper legal right and use variance to be there, or cause him to comply with the zoning use codes. Well, the key word here is has the proper legal right. That's what I like the town attorney.
Variance to use.
That's correct. That would be a special use permit.
But that's not even provided in the special use.
Yes.
Well,
Does it fall under
multiple
accessory?
apartments is listed under,
But not,
But
not a
that's
residence.
business district.
yeah, that's business district, which this is.
Yes.
So zoning for business district applies under uses requiring special use. list of multiple apartments. So
Yeah, that requires a special use.
the intent of that code, they mean complexes like we've got on the way out of town with multiple apartments,
Fourplex.
or do they mean it's all right to have an apartment here or there, or do they mean that you can have 6 apartments and businesses? We don't know.
Or did they mean that you can live in your business, and you're allowed to have this, you're allowed to live there, but you have to be special use to
So
have
the code is not clear.
it.
We did envision that problem because
Yes.
in 2007, when the town hired an Denver architect to rewrite our land use code, our comprehensive plan, we specifically had drawings showing retail on the ground floor and over above residences for that retail, which is a common practice in Europe
Yes.
and all our
An old
major
Colorado
cities.
City,
Right.
Yes,
the lady downtown, Colorado Springs.
so they suggested that we do that in Green Mountain Villas. They had mixed use. So, but we never followed up and changed the zone. So we have to still have the whole region. I didn't write this one. So, you know, if the lawyer says apartments are okay, we're done. So, no, I interpret it saying it's not clear, then we can say, okay, let's rewrite or amend it. And take the word multiple out of there and leave apartments in. Then everybody's leaving.
Well, it's not that special use,
Yes.
but you can get,
Well, no, because 5 is a permitted principal use, hotels, motel, bed, and breakfast rooms. This is something that might apply to the VRBO we were talking about. What's the difference between a bed and breakfast and a full-time vacation rental item?
But we're not talking about the
I know, but I mean, we just went off on a tangent, but this is a permitted principal use in a business district.
Right, right. It's another type of residential use.
So,
So
so resident, short-term residents within a business district, under this terminology, is permitted, yeah. You don't need a
what
special
about
use.
long-term?
it just doesn't address
Well,
it.
That does not address it.
I think there's merit to amending the code to make it clear. And I suggested just drop the word multiple.
Depends on where the objective is.
Leave apartments in.
Yeah, it was the trustees one.
Or it had to be public hearings.
Yeah.
So,
But that to me is the simplest way out. I don't think anybody wants to kick people
No,
out.
we don't want to.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's,
That's not the intent. But you
he's asking us to prove that somebody's doing something wrong. That's not retarded.
Well, and I think the whole thing is if you know you're living in a business district, then with that comes,
Right, accommodation.
yeah, like,
I mean, are there apartments on top of the Bluehost?
yes,
yeah. And the,
well, on top of the Nike, there's not a purpose of that.
well, there's a space people have stayed in,
Right, it's more used as like,
Storage.
right?
For years, there have been people living there, for years.
So it's,
For years,
it's
like
permanent.
Right.
For years, people have
Yeah.
been living in Stones and Bones. And nobody's ever challenged it before, until there was a big tiff between two neighbors. And now they've asked us to address that. As you
Oh,
question, you can question their motives.
Yeah.
I can speculate that they would like to have some way to make that move out of there. And I don't embrace that.
No, no. Yeah, and I think again, it goes back to, they have they're okay to live there. And then with that comes, you live in a business district, so you're gonna be able to expect that the trucks are gonna be coming at 6 o'clock in the morning to deliver.
but that's just common sense.
But you're not dealing with
That's-
two people doing
concerned with the noise issue. There's a noise ordinance, no different than the people at the lakeside cottages.
Right.
They have to put up with the noise.
Well, and there's someone above, I think there's someone who rents a house above the lakeside cottages that has a problem with noise, but they knew when they moved in that,
There's a bar across the street.
yeah, there's a bar across the street, but they complain about it all the time, but the bar is always open.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you know something's there, as long as it's not
Buying a house at the other runway, complaining that planes fly over your house.
in San Jose.
Yes, over at Eastridge.
Yeah.
So I move that we request advice from the town attorney on this agenda.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I know that that's probably not going to be on the July 28th meeting.
Or we can email the town attorney.
He's on.
Oh,
So,
Well, we can still email
it
it.
goes on agenda.
okay, well, my
I
suggestion,
don't anticipate we'd be ready for the
okay,
20th.
that's what I'm saying, you're not gonna be able to get a hold of them to get that, that's what I'm saying.
I don't care if we don't.
Mrs. Mayor, Mrs. Mayor, can you
Yes.
take that activity
Yes.
to email them to, so
Can
what?
you send me, or let me know exactly what I need to be, the question that we're asking?
Yes.
Will you send it to me then, Viv?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, and then I will get it to them.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor.
Also, we need to make sure we're not getting refile when we respond to stuff.
Yes.
Even if we don't get the file.
Yes.
Sunshine.
Okay, and, it says, correspondence, B and C, you addressed, Karen Watson and Corey Smith's letters. And then that's listed, you guys got it, didn't
I got one from, I forwarded you one I got from correspondence. He sent it to us.
you? No,
No,
you
less.
missed listed.
No. Oh, wait.
He sent that, he sent that
Sorry.
to some of the people.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were talking about another complaint for the BRBI. Yes, I got that.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, that was 627. Yeah, yeah, Eric, you got it,
Yes, I got it.
and did you?
Yeah, I got it.
Did I forward it to you? Okay. And there's, I stuck it on there because I got it under correspondence, I don't know if there's anything that, necessarily we need to do, that would be code enforcement to determine whether or not.
Right, so the marshal needs to go out there and see if something thinks we can be involved in this involved. Because if they're
The
building.
short answer is yes, there is a section, if he is building in, the flood.
We have some responsibility to be protected.
Yeah, there's requirements.
As we found out with the big fence.
Yes.
And so if you go to, this is going to be Article 8, which is 16808. No structure or hereafter be constructed, located, extended, converted, or altered without full compliance with the terms of this article and other applicable regulations approved by the planning commission. 16-808. Article 6, flood damage protection. And then 16-813. A development permit shall be obtained before construction begins within any area of special flood hazard established in 16-807 for this article.
Okay.
Have a development permit.
Development permit. A development permit shall be obtained before construction or development begins within an area of a special flood hazard established in 16-807.
They ever given a development permit?
The planning commission has involvement with this. This is the one where the fence got into this.
That's what led to the flooding of the neighbor's yard.
So that fence being there for years and years and years, not a water limit fence. Don't know that we can do anything retroactive with that. That's why that was a sticking point. Had it been a brand new fence, it would put up pretty close.
I reread this letter. This is a letter from one neighbor to another. CC copy to the planning commission.
Of the board.
And the board. Oh.
There's no action.
We can be aware there may be a violation.
Yeah. See no action on our part, other than, I don't know that she was.
Yeah.
But the board's been notified, so they can
Leave it in the tracks.
they can direct the marshal accordingly.
Or neighbors decided not to build it.
Yeah. Okay, but I don't know, take a look.
Anyway, it was correspondence.
Okay.
That's why. Have we got anything else? And we shall adjourn at 7:53 p.m.
It's a record.
Yay.
1953.
So how does the Colorado Springs Planning Commission only involve one meeting?
It's a
It's a
3-day
huge
event.
Yeah, they have a huge staff.
Yeah, they have a staff. They have a payroll, you have paid people. They may meet once a month, but there's activities going on Monday to Friday.